Okay, assuming you already know the rules to Oware, I'm going to talk about some of the connections you can make to like primary years curriculum, so like grades 1 to 3, even the early years, the kindergarten learners. So to start off, Oware is a game with, we got, I'm going to call these circles here, these are pits. So first of all, we can talk about just counting pits, right? So that's one-to-one correspondence for your early years learner. And the game actually starts with 4 beads, in every single pit. So again, one-to-one correspondence. We're talking about trying to figure out, are there 4 in each? We go around counting. There's a bit of counting backwards, counting forwards. You could potentially do addition, mental addition and subtraction. For instance, this one has too few. How many more do we need to add? They may not know that. They may have to do trial and error by putting it in and counting it again. Oh, I now have 2. I now have 3. And you'll notice this one won't be very efficient because it gives 4 to this, but now there's 3 here. So they got to figure out how to make sure that all have 4. And this one here, we have too many, so we got to take one away. But now where does it go that it evens out? I think we're along there. Since there are 12 and there are 4 beads in every single pit, we have 48 beads in this game. So a lot of counting, a lot of mental math. When you go through the game, you're not supposed to technically count. Like I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and a young student may go, okay, I'm moving counterclockwise, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll end here. As you become more proficient in the game, it's kind of frowned upon to actually be counting about. All that's supposed to be done mentally. So they're supposed to go, okay, I have 4. I mentally count 4. That means I'm going to end up in this one here if I pull from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. My opponent goes. They have 4. You know what? I want to make sure I drop 1 bead in here. So I'm setting myself up. Oops. For a potential capture here. So that's nice. So there's going to be a lot of counting involved in the game. Mental math. Technically, you subtract from each one. So when I take here, I'm taking 4 out of this pit, and I'm adding 1 to each of these pits. I could be actually on the side, like writing down everything. I took -4, I subtracted 4 from this one, and added 1 to each of these. This originally had 4, so now it has 5. Had 4, now it had 5. This had 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. And you can talk about all the mental math, or you can actually write it on a piece of paper. It's completely up to you. Involved in this game. As the students get more proficient, so like your grade 3 years, we can start talking about multiplication, like how many. So in the pit here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I had to count down my head. Not so great at so-called subitizing. There's 6 here, 6 here. How many do I have on one side? We can talk about multiplication. You can actually change the rules of the games to involve a bit of division here. But I'm also going to relate this to some computer studies in another video. So that's why I have these rows here. They help us figure out. You can actually talk in your later years of mathematics about coordinate grid systems. So I've called this row A. Row B is where we're always taking from, and we have 6 columns across the top. As you take from, I could say column B6, where am I going to end up? Well, I have to do a little mental counting forward. I'm going to end up in A2. So great little stuff there. So a game that your early years can learn and start with, and actually does a lot of the numeracy and numeration up until like our grade 3 year. Okay. The other thing actually I wanted to add to it is the idea of ordinal and cardinal numbers. How many are in here? Well, the cardinal number of 5, I know I have 5. And as I drop 1 in here every single time, I change the amount in each of these. So we're talking about our cardinal numbers. But this system I built across the top with columns talks about where we're drawing from. Those are ordinal. Am I taking from the first column, the second, to the third? So I can say I'm going to go from row A in the 4th column, and I'm going to take the cardinal number of 1 out and drop it into the 3rd column of row A. And now we now have 7 beads in our A3 column. So you can also relate ordinal and cardinal numbers to this game. It's pretty robust. There's quite a bit you can do with it.